Yeah, 1,000 ought to do it. Make it. Oh, golly. I'm glad you guys are here, though. Good to see you. In the last video, somebody, namely me, got a little carried away with the 400 grit on the Clearcoat. But no fear. Ignorantly Optimistic is here to save the day. Let's get to work. What I'm trying to do is show you what I'm talking about. You can see right there. See that long line right there? And there's a few others here and there. And it looks ripply. It's really hard to see. And also, it's kind of hard to see here, but after 3,000 grit, that should be pretty almost polished. And I'm not particularly happy with some of this. Now that the paint booth is gone, I've got real lighting on it, and I can really see all kind of stuff. You know, it all needs gone over again anyway. So probably going to wipe it all down, get her washed down again. Probably 3,000 this here. Some of the rougher places that are still left, we'll go to the 1, the 2, and the 3. I have 1,000 grit, 2,000 grit, and 3,000 grit. If something's a little hairy, I have 8,000 or 800 grit. Okay. Basically, what's been knocked down that was pretty rough is the 400 took care of it. Now we just got to get the 400 scratches out. There's no bother trying to, and you can see the swirls. We didn't get very far, and I noticed what was going on, and I just stopped. Why waste the time? On top of that, good old stuff, the rubby compound stuff. This is the finishing stuff, and this is the heavy duty good stuff. So let me get set up, get doing something. 2,000 after the 1,000, and I think we're going to be okay. I believe so. I don't see any straight marks. I know you guys could hardly see it to start with, but once you polished it, then they just bling, stuck right out. Now there's a place or two that I want to show you right there. See that right there? I was worried that that was paint and I burnt through. Well, if you notice how it's shiny around there and it's not sanded, that's Clearcoat. What that is the last coat that I put on here, nice and thick and heavy. What happened, I believe, is the coat underneath it set up a little bit too much, so it didn't quite melt together. So any place I see like that, I did find out on the back, they will buff off, but I'm probably going to concentrate a little bit on this. I might go over it with some 2,000 and a flat block just to burn that off and get that flat. But the rest of it, there's another spot like right there. You kind of see this glossy. It's not even really orange peel, it's just another good example right here. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh no, I burnt through. Well, if I'd burnt through, it wouldn't be glossy around the outside edges of it. That's that final layer of Clearcoat. But we're getting there. So 1,000, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000. I'm about to do the 2,000 on this, and the door was pretty rough, and so I really went at it with the 400. It did work. It just takes a bit with that 1,000 to get that out. Once the 1,000 gets it out, 2,000 cleans it up really quick, and then the 3,000 will be, you know, good. So I think that's what I'll do, is I'll get the whole car done in 1 and 2,000. I'll do a panel at a time just so I can monitor how things are going. So and I'm going to redo some of this. I'm probably going to go with a few spots here, and then 2,000 or 3,000 again on some spots on the back that I'm not particularly happy with. Down here, I did this by hand. Just grabbed a soft block and some 1000, and there I went. So now I'm going to get a soft block and some 2000 and just get down in here real good. What I don't want to do, what happens when you're sanding, and if I hit this, it leaves a mark. And I don't want that. So I'm just doing that by hand. And really, it's pretty easy once you get it knocked down, and get the orange peelies out of it, it goes pretty quick. I'll show you. Softy block, soak down piece of 2000. And I've showed you this to you before, guys, but sometimes I don't remember how detailed I get, and sometimes I don't remember how detailed you want me to get. Okay. So all I'm doing, like I said, is you can feel the roughness, and you can feel it smooth out. Then you know and I'm not too worried about way in there. I can't buff in there. I'm not taking these fenders all the way off. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys a story, just real quick. I think you're gonna like it. So the other night, the wife and I were laying in bed watching TV after the little one finally went to sleep. You know, she's going back to school, 2nd grade, big girl. I want to say hi to Lily because she's probably watching. Hi, Lily. So we're laying in bed watching TV, and the wife asked a question that I knew I shouldn't answer. Said, babe, if something happened to me, would you end up remarrying? And I knew better, but I went ahead and answered honestly because I'm an honest guy. I says, well, yeah, I don't, I like having company, and Lily's running around, and I need some help. I'd have to have some help, raising her, getting her on a school bus and all that. I said, yeah, I'd probably remarry. She said, oh, okay. She said, well, would you have her live in this house? And I could see it going worse. I said, well, it already had the house. I said, heck, we're in good shape on the house. There ain't no sense turning around and buying another one. It's a perfectly good house. She said, oh, okay. I thought, well, this ain't going too bad. And then it kept going. She said, would you let her sleep in this bed? I said, well, it is a pretty good bed, perfectly good bed. It's a shame to go have to buy another bed. I said, yeah, I'd probably have her sleep in this bed. She said, oh, really? I said, yeah. She said, you'd probably let her use my golf clubs. I said, no, honey, she's left-handed. Thought you guys liked that. Just kind of show you. I don't remember if I showed you this or not. This stuff is blue on the back, little foamy. I want to center this best I can, and there's a reason I say that, because I found the swirlies, and I believe it's because I didn't the Velcro part of the pad. The other thing I noticed, since it has a blue backing, inside you start seeing blue through the paper. Paper's done. Done. Just water and my sponge. Usually I like to wet my little square, because that's kind of how I'm working. I'm squares, overlapping my squares, going this away, this away. Not doing a whole lot of pressure. I'm not pushing real hard, just lightly holding it there, because on the top surface all I do is the weight. So I've got to kind of mimic that same amount of pressure. I don't push, but I've got to hold it on there to do enough. Now too much water, it'll hydroplane. If you go too fast, it'll hydroplane. So I got my pressure down to probably 40 psi, and there's a little valve that you can adjust the pressure to the sander, and I've got it about halfway. And then you have your corners like this, keep it moving. Keep it flat, keep it moving. Don't go like this. I don't want to burn through right there on that high pressure point. If you want to see white, like a soapy kind of thing, that's clear coat. We know it's sanding. Back and forth a couple times, half a dozen. Getting a little dry there. Let me dry that off. That should be good. Then I can start to see a little spots of blue, and that's it for that piece of paper. Let me get that dried off, and I'll show you the difference between the 1000 and 2000. Now I only sanded about to here. You should be able to see the reflection. See how shiny that is on the fender? It's hard to see on the camera. Hopefully when I edit it now you can kind of see it. From here to there it's shiny. Starting to get a sheen to it where the 1000 doesn't have it yet. Time we do 3000 it should be almost glossy and real easy to buff. Just like that hood. That's 2000. There's the hood in 3000. Did this by hand, 3000, all around here. So I'm gonna do the whole entire car. Yep, even the back end because I touched up some places I didn't like. 3000 that too. Push it outside, washy real good, and bring it back in and start buffing. There's some funny places in the clear, like that one right there. See that? I think it's the layers of clear. Once you go through one layer, then it looks like that. It is what it is. We'll get it buffed out, get it cleaned up best we can. But first I'm going to spend the next couple hours 3000 this whole thing. I'm not going to wipe it off. I'm just going to do like I did on the hood. So I know I'll at least get as good as the hood if I do it the same way all the way around the car, just little squares back and forth, just the same amount of times, overlaps each little section and all the way, the whole car. Phew. And then it'll be what it is. If Ralph's happy with it, that's awesome. If he's not, we'll figure something out. It'll re-clear. Flow coat.
You told me to go straight to hell, honey, I surely did. I remember the day that you left me. I remember the things that you said. You told me to go straight to hell, honey, I surely did. I started off with a drinking, whiskey, beer, and wine. I'm sinking. Slowly
Got it washed up, cleaned up. Don't look half bad. It looked really good when it was wet. So I sent a picture to Ralph, said, hey, hopefully this thing looks as good buffed as it does wet. I said, maybe you can just drive it around in the rain all the time. He said, okay, I'll buy a really good top. So, you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. There's some funny spots in it, and I'm not sure what the deal is. I think really what's happened is it was too hot. The temperature was too hot for the medium reducer or the medium activator, and I needed slow activator for the temperature. Or it was just the cheap clear. So if we do re-clear the whole thing, we're going with something different. Maybe some matrix or something a little bit, you know, a little bit more expensive if I'm gonna bother doing it. But let's get her buffed out. Let's see what happens. Now, I was afraid my order wouldn't show up, and it showed up today. So I ordered this through the O'Reilly's. I had it shipped to the store. $58. I think it was $63 with tax and all that stuff. It's not cheap. Now we clean the car up, we're going to make a great big mess. Got my heavy cut red waffle pad. I washed it. It's still a little wet. No biggie. There's some of the water run off of it. Water doesn't, all it does is dilute the rubbing compound a bit. So let's see what this does. See if we got our little 400 scratchy problem fixed. Yep. Don't see any scratchies. All right, let me get some done. I'll turn you back on. There you go, kids. Just the first rough pass. There's some fogginess, some inclusion still. I'm going to redo some of it. There's a couple places that are a little funny yet. But heck, you could almost wax this thing and just be done with it. And I'll tell you what, I just might. But there's some of the really expensive 3M glaze that I'm going to use to go over this with a fine pad, and it's just going to really, the trunk lid needs a little buffing up yet. It's coming around. I mean, heck, there's some dirt in it still. As far as compound, see the white specks, that's just compound. Little scratches from the hose and stuff like that all come out with our final buff. There's your hood. Yes, sir. A couple places need a little bit of work, but it's definitely a nice looking driver now, just as it is. That bodywork wasn't too bad, was it? See a little place right there I missed, needs buffing a little bit. Yep. This thing's gonna look good one of these days. Hey, sure glad your kids came back to hang around a little bit. We'll see you next week for sure. This car's not going anywhere. You're gonna see it finished. We're gonna do some moving around. I got some stuff I gotta take care of, car wise, project wise. So you're gonna be included. All you gotta do is come back on Sundays. Now, I am out of clean towels, out of energy, and out of cares for tonight. But just like you, man, you only have so much time to work on your project. This is the real stuff right here, just like you guys. And you work on it when you can. You get done what you can get done, and you go in the house or across town where you live, whatever your situation is. But hey, look, don't give up. Just because you don't get something done so fast like in the other videos you see, and they take a week or two to make those videos, and it makes it seem like it's a day or two, right? And don't feel bad. That's just not real. This is the real stuff. So if you've made it this far, you probably noticed some commercials, ads. Junks Automotive is officially monetized. Now, I might be able to buy a couple gallons of gasoline at the end of every month for now, but hopefully you kids keep on sticking around. Tell your friends, tell everybody you can. Share it on your WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter thing, or whatever that stuff is, right? Spread the word. We can build this up and have a little bit of cash to do some cooler, better projects, and maybe, who knows what we can do. Now, I'm not an expert at all this. Always remember that. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. But if you look through the comments on some of these, there's some really good guys that professionals that comment and give me great advice. Get your advice there too. If you got a question, go ahead and hit them back. See if they don't want to, answer your question. They probably know better than me. All right, man. Wouldn't have gotten this far without you guys. Junk out. Oh, Lordy. My feet hurt.